Hi, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations with my latest video on my latest project. I would certainly encourage you to click on the subscribe button below if you enjoy seeing the videos. If you don't, obviously don't subscribe. Um, MagicPachinkoRestorations.com is now live. Just add a .com to Magic Pachinko Restorations and you'll find the website. A lot of good information there on what I do, how I do it, questions answered, so on and so forth, and it will also showcase the machines that I'm working on and machines that I have for sale. So certainly ask you to drop by. So this video is on a 1973 Nishijin Model A. This is what they call a recycler. Model A, Model B, Model C. These are terms that we refer to, we being people in the United States. The Japanese don't refer to them as Model A, B, and C, but we do. So this is a Model A. These were from the early 70s, and this is what's called a recycler. I'll show you what that means when we turn it around. As with all of my restorations, I'm one of the few people in the United States who tear them down to the extent that I do. And that is literally every single piece that you see, both front and back, gets taken off, cleaned, polished, sanded, polyurethane, dealt with in some way or another, and then I start literally from scratch and rebuild the entire machine. Now that includes new artwork. The original artwork on this, actually I can show you what it looked like. This is the original artwork that was on this machine. Probably can see it's very stained up here, and all around the holes where the nails were and such is staining. That you can't get rid of. You literally have to tear the old one off and put a new one on. So again, I'm one of the few people that goes to this step, but this was taken off. Once everything else is off, you take the old artwork off, sand the board down nice and smooth, and then I acquired new artwork. In this case, I opted not to have use the original artwork again. If I do a customer's restoration and they want the same artwork, then obviously I would put the same artwork on. But I've got enough of these artwork patterns that occasionally I'll just put one that I like, and that's what I did with this one. I think that the background, the artwork pattern on this one's really kind of neat. So it is new artwork, but not the original artwork that was on the machine. So you can see how nice and clean everything is on the inside. I will transfer the original inspection sticker from the old artwork onto the new machine. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Most people like to see that. It kind of lends authenticity to the machine for sure. There is one flaw in this machine, and that is at some point prior to me getting the machine, it must have tipped over, and this corner would have hit on something hard, and it just knocked a little piece of the plastic out. It does not affect the functionality of the tray. It's just a piece is gone, and these are getting very hard to find replacement parts for, seeing as how these machines are getting along to almost 50 years old now. This is the original piece of plexiglass that's in here. It's not in good shape. I have not cut a new piece. I will cut a new piece and put it in prior to me packaging this machine up. Once it's sold, I just leave the old plexiglass in so nothing happens to the new plexiglass until I actually sell the machine. So that will have a brand new piece of plexiglass. It is on 2 feet to stabilize it so it won't tip over. If you could mount this into a cabinet, then obviously you'd take the feet off. Okay, so let me turn this around and show you the back side. Before I do that, I'll show you, this is the outer frame of the machine. Again, I take this apart, pull the nails out, take an individual board, I run them through my planer, then I sand them, and then I polyurethane them. When they're mass produced over in Japan, these were very rough cut. I mean, they would be very rough to the feel. Now they're nice and smooth, and they're clean. The grain is easily seen again rather than having the dullness of 40 years of grime. So that's all cleaned up. Polyurethane so nothing warps anymore. So here's what a recycler looks like on the back side. A little bit different than a lot of the other pachinko machines, the Bs and obviously the Cs. So the way this works is pachinko balls go in here, they run down, turn and drop down here and start to fill this tray up. They continue to run, and under this cover is where they will stop, and there'll be 14 of them, a double row of 7, and they just sit there like this until you get a prize, and then it tips and it lets the balls out into this. They bang off the bell, and then they go out the front of the machine as the prize. So that's the way the machine works. In the meantime, you've got a seesaw chamber like you do in a Model B and a Model C, and then all this mechanism in here determines when the balls come back down into the tray and so on and so forth. So a losing ball on this machine will come back into the feed tray rather than exiting the machine. Now, if you're going to dump the balls out of the machine, they will exit down here. There's a chute that they come down to, and they would exit right here, and that's why you would need some sort of a catch container to catch the balls if you're just simply going to dump the balls out of the machine. This is not included with this machine. This is a custom-made piece that I made just so I have one while I'm working on the machines. So you can just put a little box there, a little cardboard box, doesn't matter, just something to catch the balls. So when you go to set this up, first thing you want to do is I include a 12-volt wall plug. So this powers 2 lights. There's one there and one there. This is for ball out. This is for jackpot. So if I plug this in, you see the light comes on. It comes on because this piece of metal is pushing the 2 leaves together of the leaf switch. If I lift up on it, the light goes out. So when there's no balls in the hopper, that light would be on. When this hopper fills up with balls, the weight of the ball is pushed down on this, and it turns that light off. Okay. Over here is your jigsaw, and when that tips, that will turn that center light on. Okay. All right. So let me load this up. I'll show you how this works. One thing I don't know if you caught that or not. There's a shut and open. If it were open, the balls would continue and go down here, as I mentioned before. And I just happened to see that it was open, so I flipped it up to shut. That's obviously something you want to do before you put your balls in, is make sure this says shut, so the balls stop here where they're supposed to. Well, we'll just keep... So essentially what happens, 2 things happen. Enough balls dropped into this hopper so that it will be functional. When that happens, it shuts off the flow of balls out of this hopper. Enough weight now pushes down on this, the light is out. As this hopper starts to empty of balls, then this would open up and let more balls down into that hopper. So the nice thing about the Model A's is you're not constantly moving pachinko balls around like you do with a Model B, because they're going to fall out of the machine, and then you have to dump them up into the upper hopper occasionally. Okay? So let's get this turned around. So again, you're going to put some balls here. This little break, it's unfortunate, but again, it doesn't interfere with the pachinko balls in any shape or form. Now, the first time that we try to launch this, nothing will happen. It takes 1 cycle for the ball to get inside the machine, and then the second time it will launch a ball. Okay, so what just happened is I put a ball in here that gave me 1 win. When I put the ball in here, internally it opened this tulip, and then another ball fell into this tulip and closed it. So I got 2 wins. So the 2 winning balls have gone down to the lower tray, the 14 balls each time, and you can see the jackpot chamber right here. The 14 balls dropped out into this tray. When the tulips are open, they're a much larger target. They're easier to get a ball into. So it went down through, it opened this tulip and then went inside internally and gave me the win, and it leaves this tulip open. So let's see if we can get another one in there. There we go. Okay. Now, what you saw me do is the balls were coming in and they were hanging up here. The reason that it's doing that is because this particular piece of plexiglass that's in here is very thin and it's very warped. Ideally, this should be glass, and then it stops the balls from hanging up from happening. It's not a flaw in the machine, it's the fact that this is a real wimpy piece of plexiglass. The plexiglass I use is substantially thicker than this, and it'll eliminate the problem, so don't worry about that. Any questions, please contact me via the website, or leave a comment on the YouTube video. I try my best to answer those as quickly as possible. Hope this maybe ends up in your home someday. Thanks.